human means us therapists carry our own stuff too. And yet, it somehow still feels risky to admit that we struggle. So, this Mental Health Awareness Month, I am going to name what the field does not always make space for, that our mental health matters too. Hi, I'm Jenny Hughes, founder of the Brave Trauma Therapist Collective. Mental Health Awareness Month usually centers around our clients, and that matters. That's important. But let's get real. We are not robots. We're trauma therapists. We have mental health needs too. We are human. And most of us, we've been trained to either ignore that shit entirely or hide it, put it away, to manage it privately behind closed doors, to perform being regulated, no matter what is happening behind our eyes. This month, I am calling that bullshit out because therapist well being is not a side note, it is central and it deserves a spotlight. Mental health awareness is not something that we deliver, okay? It's something that we deserve. And yet, when you go digging through the research on mental health diagnoses in mental health providers, oh my God, there's like nothing out there. You will find study after study on physicians, their depression, anxiety, ADHD, even suicide risk. And that matters, right? But when it comes to therapists, we get burnout, maybe secondary trauma, blaming us for the effects of our work on us. But try finding stats on how many trauma therapists live with anxiety, depression, PTSD, ADHD, autism, you name it, crickets. That silence, it is not neutrality, it is stigma. It says we're the ones that are supposed to be well, that if we're struggling, we are clearly not good at our jobs and are not cut out for this. But here's what does exist. Here's what I could find. Around 61% of psychologists have experienced clinical depression. Roughly 10% of mental health professionals show symptoms of PTSD. That's nearly 3 times the general population. And while we don't have really clear data on therapists specifically, one study I found showed that 35% of healthcare providers had screened positive for ADHD. And honestly, I don't even need the data as much as it's important to me to find it because I see this every day. I see it in my Brave community, with my supervisees, in my closest colleagues and friends. Some of the most compassionate, skilled, attuned trauma therapists that I know live with anxiety, ADHD, chronic depression, and pain, or they have trauma histories that still ripple through their bodies. And they're not doing this work in spite of that, they're doing it with it, sometimes because of that. Their regulation looks different, though, right? Their sensory processing, their stress recovery, the way they experience people in the world, it's all part of it. And they still show up and do beautiful, ethical, transformative work. So, no, you are not imagining it. We are underrepresented on purpose. And naming that, that's part of what makes this Mental Health Awareness Month for us, too. Now, when we don't see our own mental health reflected in the research, in trainings, or even in casual conversations with colleagues, it really messes with our perception of what's normal, as much as I hate that word, and of what's allowed. Okay. I hear this all the time. I'm the only one who can't get my anxiety under control. Everyone else seems so grounded. What's wrong with me? Or I should be able to regulate better. Even just the other day in Brave, there was a whole conversation about chronic fatigue syndrome and not being good enough because brains and bodies were responding to stress after stress in their lives and environment. Fortunately, Brave showed up, showed all the way up for each other. There was no shaming, there was no negativity, there was only lifting each other up together. But when we hear all of these shoulds, all that shoulding is doing a lot of damage in the background because ultimately it just leads to even more silence. And when the field stays silent, we don't just stay isolated. We really start to believe that our basic human needs, our dysregulation, our depression, our overwhelm, are proof that we are not doing this right. And you cannot tell me that that is correct, especially in the world that we are living in right now. And Please listen to me when I say this. Your experience is not an outlier. It's invisible because the system was never built to reflect the full, nuanced, messy humanity of us as mental health providers and as trauma therapists. So let's name this clearly. The issue is not just the work that we do. It's that the mental health field tells us our own mental health should somehow be invisible, quiet, managed. So when you're living with anxiety, when you're living with ADHD, trauma, autism, depression, you name it, not only are you doing the work of being a therapist, and a fucking badass one, by the way, you're doing the extra work of wondering whether having a brain and body like yours means you're not cut out for this. That is the distortion. That is what this silence does. And if no one interrupts that silence, we keep walking around wondering if we're the only ones who feel this way. But we're not, and you're not. The only way we start to believe that is by saying it out loud, not once, but over and over, louder and louder until it starts to land. I've had to work hard on this myself. And if I'm being honest, it is very much still a work in progress. One of the most difficult things that I face in my own mental health is this deep fear and belief that I am just simply not good enough. That if I don't constantly prove my worth to other people and frankly to myself, then maybe I don't actually have any. So I overwork. I say yes way too much. I build, I fix, I push, hoping that if I just keep going, no one, especially me, will see the truth that I am afraid of. But it never fucking works because the truth is, I am good enough, and so are you. But when I'm stuck in that cycle, I do not feel it, not at all. I do get tired and irritable, and I start numbing out from myself, my body, my family, my friends, from the joy that I want so badly to experience. And when that happens, it starts to cycle all over again. Clearly, I'm failing. That exhaustion becomes shame. Shame becomes burnout. And I've seen this exact spiral in so many other therapists I know too. Okay. We blame ourselves for not being invincible in a system and a world that has been gaslighting us all along. So, when I say that this video right here is community care, I mean it. Because the only way I've ever felt more free is by telling the truth, first to myself and then out loud, over and over and over again. And that's why I'm doing it here. And that's what I'm inviting you to do. So here's the invitation, okay? This month for Mental Health Awareness Month, I want you to join us in a challenge, a movement, a conversation, a little rebellion against the silence. Hashtag being human as a therapist. Each week during Mental Health Awareness Month, I'm going to be sharing a moment, a reflection, or a truth about my own mental health as a trauma therapist. And I really want you to join me. You don't have to post a video if you don't want. Maybe you share a story, you create a carousel, a single sentence. It could be a quote that you share that helps you feel seen, or maybe a confession you've never really shared out loud before. Whatever it is, tag us at Brave Providers and use the hashtag being human as a therapist so we can see each other in it. We can see it all together. And if you're not ready to share, that is okay. Just follow along. Witnessing counts too. This isn't about oversharing, it's about undoing the silence together. I'm Jenny Hughes, and I'm right here with you.